in the bar?
A lot of the women have been raped or sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, and this is a common theme that runs through them. And a lot of the women have said, well, I wasn't a virgin anymore, I wasn't worth anything.
You know, in the Philippines, we have this patriarchal system wherein we look up on the men while women are just the second-class citizen. That's why if the man goes to the bar, it's even, you know, an ego for them, you know, because they are really this macho, you know. They prove themselves that they are really man.
The Philippines was colonized by the Spanish in the early 16th century and by the Americans in 1898. Filipinos joke that they've had 400 years in the convent and 100 years in Hollywood. Such a unique colonial history, and particularly the imposition of the Roman Catholic Church, has had dire consequences for women. Family planning is discouraged, and women are judged by their marital and virginal status. Men are free to pursue mistresses, prostitutes, or so-called minor wives with impunity. The Philippines is a land of striking contrast. Great beauty, wealth, and resources, alongside tremendous poverty and destitution.
I think the girls become bar girls because they have no choice. You know, if their choice is to live in extreme poverty or be a bar girl and make money, that's not a choice. And they do it because they need to survive and their families need to survive. And there's no social security net. If you don't have the money, then you starve.
Mila is from Binmali, an old fishing village in the province of Pangasinan. One reason she became a bar girl is because of the poverty of her family. She is the fifth of 10 children and only went to grade 6. According to Filipino custom, the older siblings are responsible for the younger ones, so most of the money Mila makes is sent home to her family.
Naiiyak ako ng first time ko dahil sa double kilo. Sige na!
Mila's agreed to take Agnes and her friend Feli, who speaks the local dialect, to meet her family in Binmali.
When we are on our way to Pangasinan, she always kept on telling me she's shy. She's very shy that we will see their situation and we will meet her parents. She told me that their house is very small and they have nothing to show us. They have no livelihood. Only the mother, who is a laundry woman. That's why she's very shy.
Quatro.
Ilan kayo nakatira dito?
Balakin kami ng 14. Isa dit, kuya ko dati.
14 people lives here. Yeah, 14.
Ano sa English? And the one in the, she's nice girl. She's nice girl. The name is Rosing. Ano pinito mo? Gascon.
Rosing Gascon. Rosemary Gascon is the niece of Mila. She had an accident when she was 2 years old. Look at her back. She had a hunchback. Now she's 7 years old. They cannot fix it anymore because, you know, She doesn't have money to treat this girl.
I think before the father was working as a helper in the fish pen, but now since he is a hard drinker, when we met there, he was drunk already.
Bukas po, ilang taon sa akin? Tapos 53. 53! Remembrance kami sa'yo. Babalik kami sa Mayo. Balik po kami. Pasensya na kayo.
When we saw their situation, we'll just, it's a pity. There was a time when she went home with her boyfriend and she introduced him to the mother. He's also a foreigner, an American. But when he saw their situation, they parted. Maybe some foreigners thought that if you have a big family, you have to support them. Especially in the case of Mila, they are very poor.
Angeles City was home to the United States Clark Air Force Base from the Second World War until the early 1990s. It was the biggest American base in Asia, with more than 40,000 people stationed there at any given time. And where you have military men, you have lots of rest and recreation facilities. So all around the perimeter of the base, you see the sex industry, just for the foreigners. Mount Pinatubo erupted in 1991, devastating Angeles City and the surrounding areas. The Americans abandoned Clark, but left all the infrastructure behind. The airstrips, living quarters, a state-of-the-art hospital, and of course, all the bars. Australians, retired Americans, and other Westerners bought up all the bars by marrying Filipino women. Military prostitution was quickly replaced by sex tourism on Fields Avenue. Prostitution is illegal in the Philippines, so officially there are no prostitutes. The women are called dancers, waitresses, hospitality workers, or GROs. Guest relations officers. The girls don't have Johns, they have boyfriends. They don't go out on tricks, they are bar fined. If a woman is bar fined, a customer pays the bar owner to take her out. 15 minutes costs only a few dollars. The whole night is 1,000 pesos, or 20 US dollars. And the girl gets half. In a country where the minimum wage is 150 pesos a day, this is an enormous amount of money. Another piece of the infrastructure left behind by the Americans is the social hygiene clinic. It was set up to make sure prostitutes were not infected with sexually transmitted diseases, so the military men would be protected. The clientele may have changed, but the system remains the same, operated now by the municipal government. Mila and the other 3,000 bar girls in Angeles are checked weekly for infections. After getting the test, which the women pay for themselves, they wear tags on their bikinis, proclaiming them clean. It's a catch-22 for the women. Since prostitution is illegal, but also regulated by the government, and a huge double standard since male customers are not registered, checked, or criminalized in any way. Though customers may think they're protected, the women are not treated for STDs systematically and are only rarely tested for HIV. The Philippine government claims only 1,800 people in 20 years have tested positive for the virus. Human Rights Watch, however, predicts an explosion of HIV/AIDS in the Philippines, since the government has impeded access to condoms and cut funding for sex education because the Catholic Church opposes both.
So after you get your pro book,
Health card.
your health card, what do you do next?
You go to the table.
And what do you do at the
Then
table?
to know who you are, and then you are submitting for a smear.
So what are all these metal cold-looking instruments?
This instrument wherein they put it to the girl to find it out.
So there's a whole bunch of them.
Yes, whole bunch of it.
And is there only one girl in this room at a time, or is there a few
No.
waiting? Or
They fall line there, then one by one they stick the clear.
so at home, when women go for pap smears, it's a very personal, private.
Yes.
So there's not the same privacy here.
There is no pap smear here. This is only smear.
The smear.
The pap smear is you only on the left leg. That's it.
So the difference between a smear and a pap smear.
There is a difference of smear and pap smear. Because the smear is only where they look for if you have some venereal diseases. Now the pap smear is general cleaning. General cleaning if you have something like, for example, cyst, something like that.
So the smear, it's just a quick
Yes,
smear.
This quick smear, especially the virgin.
You said there's cherry girls, virgins who come
Yes.
here every week as well.
Friday.
So why do virgins who are working in the entertainment industries have to get a smear every week?
Well, it's like this. We have a problem of virgin girls telling us that she's a virgin. Now, some guys like virgin girls. They say, okay, I will marry you if you're a virgin, just tell me the truth. So we will protect the establishment and the floor manager to tell the truth. Now, how I will know that you are a virgin or not? That is the main reason. Now, another reason is that all girls who work in the entertainment industry, especially in the tourist bed, even if you are virgin or not virgin, you have to submit for a medical checkup.
So is this set up partially or fully to protect the customers?
Yes, of course.
Because
You know, there are a lot of discrimination with this kind of women. They look down on the women because they think that these women are dirty women, you know, in particular. And, you know, because, you know, you keep on going from one man to another, and they look like Mary Magdalene.
I'm not sure what to say to them when they tell me that they're raped by their father when they're 12. I'm not really sure how to react when they say that the worst thing about working in the bar fine is that you don't know the person. You may end up being killed.
Miss my boyfriend. She like belly boy, bakla. She like shirt tie. She like
Everything.
everything you like. She like me. She said, kill me or mass.
She killed me.
She kill me.
My friend.
You must cap for me. It says, no sleep for me. Almost 5 o'clock. She like, almost kill me. Almost shoot in the bakla. Almost crying. Almost cry for me.
It's hurt.
Really hard for me. Hard. Almost. Almost for me na boyfriend.
Bar girls have few options when they're too old to work, and they're old by the time they're 25. Most end up in squatter communities, living in extreme poverty, with their